and it's finally time to wrap up our Best of Next Fest of June 2026 series. There's going to be one more mega episode of a lot of amazing demos and upcoming games you should definitely be checking out. We're beginning things with Swordcery. This is an action roguelite that when a giant magical sword crashes into a magical kingdom, we must use swords and other implements in order to save the day. The gameplay here revolves around you collecting different swords. Each sword belongs to a different class, such as one-hand sword, two-hand sword, that kind of thing. This determines bonuses and synergies. Each sword is a unique element that comes with its own light attack, special move, etc, etc. And this is how you're going to create your build over the course of a run. Which passives you get that will synergize with which swords you get access to, and then you rip and tear through a variety of rooms. Now, it's a little bit awkward to play at the moment. One of the big things is that it can be quite hard to dodge enemy attacks. And much like with Hades, or at least the original one of the early meta upgrades will make it easier to dodge. And that does kind of increase the difficulty when you're starting a new game. I also had some issues when it came to targeting and locking onto enemies. This is one of those games that when you start some of the attacks, it kind of locks you into an animation. And it's very easy to do this very long animation that is completely not aimed at the enemy. So the game is quite charming to play, and I think there is potential for action roguelike fans, especially the different varieties of weapons you get access to. So I would at least keep an eye out for this one for any fans of some very heavy hacking and slashing. We leave the hacking and slashing for some Sokoban with Order of the Sinking Star. This is the next game from Jonathan Blow, of course, of Braid and the Witness fame. And we have what could maybe be an easier game to understand. It's kind of hard to tell, at least at the moment. This is Open World Sokoban. How it works is that you have a massive world to explore by pushing things one tile at a time. Each character you meet in the world has their own kind of specific puzzle solution or way of interacting. One guy has the power to push heavy blocks. Another one can kind of phase through walls. And others will get access to their own unique gifts. And the world itself is set up that you can explore from a variety of directions, variety of characters, and try and collect as many MacGuffins as you can to solve all the puzzles. Now, all these puzzles are going to be multi-screen. And again, with each character and each section having its own rules, it's hard to tell, at least from what we spend in the demo, as to how much more advanced it's going to get. But it is yet another very interesting twist on the Sokoban formula. So if you really like moving blocks one tile at a time, this could definitely be worth a check. And now we go to Corsair Cove. This is a pirate cove city builder. When you are left deserted on an island after being attacked by the authorities, you decide to make some lemonade out of lemons and turn into a pirate haven to do more good old-fashioned piracy. Now, the gameplay here is similar to that of the Anno style, where buildings are set up, they'll create or consume resources. Those resources will be sent to either refiners or to the buildings that need them for services, and you must keep your various pirate denizens happy or they will mutiny, and that will be very bad for you. The interesting thing that this game does is that because you're on kind of these small, very cliff-heavy islands, you're going to be setting up a lot of walkways, ladders, and other pathing that will make Blighttown look like a very easily accessible place. You'll eventually be able to build a pirate ship and assign one of your many pirate captains to them in order to go out and do actual pirating. Now, this is not like Sid Meier's Pirates or even some of the other kind of more action-heavy takes. When you get into combat, it is turn-based. and you'll have access to different abilities based off of the resources you have on your ship, as well as the pirate captain chosen. And once that's done, you'll take your booty back to your cove in order to keep building, keep growing, etc, etc. The demo that we played during Nexus was very large, and I was really enjoying what I was seeing here. So this one is definitely going to be for the city building fans in the audience, who are also in the mood to do some yo-ho-hoing. And now we go to, and let me make sure I get this name right, Brazilian drug dealer before 4. Demons from the port of hell I open are still in the favela, and now I have to say MAMADAS from RONALDO. I have no idea who RONALDO is, but we didn't finish Brazilian drug dealer 3. This is, as you can probably guess, the next game in the series. And what we have here is a boomer shooter, heavily inspired by Brazil and Quake. You are still defeating demons, listening to some very loud music, and yes, I have the sound very low for this part of the video. Now, some new features. You do have access to double jumping and air dashing, which I don't know if that was introduced near the end of the previous game. You'll be once again exploring some very unusual environments using some kind of similar weapons, and getting to more and more trouble. If you're looking for a highly polished and refined shooter, this is definitely not going to be the game. But it still has that very janky charm to it. So if you're a fan of Brazil, like listening to a lot of loud music and shooting lots of enemies, I would at least give this one a try, and just make sure to keep the volume a little bit on the lower side before you start playing. And now we go to Children's Garden. This is a puzzle visual novel. You have been tasked to help the spirit of a child reincarnate and move on, who is trapped inside a strange device, and that's will involve a lot of shape stacking. The game is a mix of the visual novel elements, where you'll explore your interface looking for clues, lore, and more. You'll use a resource which is basically tied to the spirit's life in order to unredact some of the different elements of it. This can uncover more information and, more importantly, gifts. Gifts are your way of kind of manipulating things in the puzzle parts. You'll attach different gifts to shapes. Each shape will have a different cost to it, and you'll need to figure out what is the best combination you need to solve the puzzle. Each puzzle can have a different objective, such as stack them to a certain height, collect something in the level, beat up something using the bomb gift, and more. And you are graded on how fast you can solve it. And you can replay levels to try and up your score, which will earn you more life, which will then let you unlock more of the lore. It's really hard to tell from the demo how more advanced the puzzles will get in the main game, and if there will be like alter endings or things like that. But it's still a very interesting and original premise for a puzzle novel game. So if you're in the mood to uncover a dystopian future and stack some shapes, I would at least give this one a play. And now we go to Your Forever Friend. This is a fake OS game where you have a lovely digital friend in your computer. She wants to play games, have fun, and it's just a great time all around. Except for the fact that, why does she feel pain? And remember dying? And what is happening here? And yes, as you can probably guess from the description, things will go sideways fairly quickly. You'll be making use of your fake OS to try and uncover the secrets of your forever friend, getting jump scared, and more. It was a bit hard to tell just like how much you'll be able to manipulate things, as the demo did lock quite a few of the features, but still a very interesting, potentially disturbing fake OS game. So if you don't mind some scares and looking for a friend, I would at least give this one a play. And that's a great cutaway, I think, to our next game, as we're going to Typomagical. This is a kind of mix between Bullet Heaven and Typing of the Dead. You have the power of words in order to cast your spells, and you must survive as long as you can and type as much as you can. How this works is that different words will belong to different categories. you'll need to combine words from each category in order to create your spell. So you have Fireball, Double Bouncy Fireball, Double Mega Bouncy Spread Electrical Fireball, and other lovely adjectives and words. And this gets very simple at the start, but it certainly escalates when you're trying to combine all your mods together to create the ultimate super fire, bouncy, homing, lightning, ice, nuke that you can imagine. Now, it can be a little bit tiring on your fingers as you have to type your spell each time, and of course, enemies are going to be coming at you from all sides. You'll be able to unlock new spells, permanent upgrades, and more. And it's a very charming and entertaining take on the bullet heaven, being more on the hands-on or typing on side. So if you are a typist looking to express the power of words to defeat your enemy, I would give this one a play. But if your fingers are easily sore after doing heavy typing, this may not be the best one for you. We leave the typing for some more violence with Virtue and a Sledgehammer. This is a narrative action game where you play a woman who has returned to her hometown, where everyone has apparently digitized themselves into robotic shells. And we are not too happy about that. And we're going to express that with a sledgehammer. You'll explore the town with a very much stylistic cutscenes, breaking things and breaking people along the way. And this one is definitely, it's going to be a very interesting and very disturbing story, at least from what we saw in the cutscenes. The gameplay, it's a bit hard to tell how much more meat there is going to be to it other than just walking around and smashing things. There are collectibles and kind of hidden lore to uncover, and you will get into some very light combat. Again, you're fighting generic shells and you have a giant sledgehammer, so you kind of have the advantage here, but it's still a very interesting take. And one I'm curious to see kind of like where the story is going to lead. So, if you're in the mood to do some very aggressive remodeling, I would at least give this one a try. And we leave the horror behind for some very cozy city building with Factory Town 2 Paradise. By the time you're watching this, the game is out on early access. The footage you're seeing is from the demo. The first game was a very charming take on automation and city building using the power of physics in order to move things around. And the sequel is taking things even cozier. You are on a deserted island with a very talkative volcano. And in order to perhaps save the world, you must build an island community, gather lots of resources, and feed our very happy looking volcano there. Like the first game, you'll go through your campaign upgrading, unlocking new researches, and completing tasks to gain more resources. Now, what's different is that the second game definitely falls more on the kind of city building side. As you build homes and supply them with goods, people will move into your island. The people who move in are essentially going to be your workers. You can assign them to various buildings and tasks to help you out. By completing quests and additional challenges, you'll earn resources and research points that you can use to unlock new buildings and new researches that you can then apply to your buildings. Eventually, you will need to set up an island-wide automation system of moving goods from one place to another, and of course, keep feeding your volcano. It's a very charming take. I did have a few issues with like the villager AI, that they were just like not using the roads I was setting up. But still, this is one of those games that there's definitely a lot going on here. And I'm definitely curious to play the full game when it is released. And if you're in the mood for a very charming take on automation and city building, it is a very easy recommendation. And now we go to Turning Manor. This is another in the Spot the Differences horror. You have been hired by a mysterious group in order to spot the differences and defects in this manor. Why are you here? Why do the hallways keep changing? And what other mysteries will you uncover? The rules are, again, pretty simple. You'll be given a kind of default hallway. You must memorize the major differences in it, and then you'll start exploring and have to count which elements are wrong, and that'll determine which path you go down. There are additional secrets to find, and things that will open up more of the world itself. Now, one thing that I did like was that there's a little bit more going on when they start introducing obstacles and other things that will kind of mess with your ability to figure out what is where. And the fact that it kind of restarts you right back at your current floor is a nice change compared to the ones that just start you all the way back at 0. Again, for this kind of game, it's hard to tell just how much more there'll be in it. But I would at least give this one a try if you are a fan of the whole, again, like, finding the defect style of horror. And now we go to Xenofeels. This is in a similar style to that of Papers, Please, but we are the inspector on an alien world of Zroth, and we need to keep the evil Xenos from getting to our planet. Some of them looking like not completely accurate versions of popular trademark characters. Each day, we must maintain our booth, figure out if the people are real based on information, and if they're not, well, we got a shotgun to handle that. At the end of each day, you'll be able to talk to your CO, who I think is maybe trying to seduce us.
I can't wait anymore, soldier. The danger you endure day after day, the courage you display to protect me, I mean us, I mean the Earth. It deserves a reward, and tomorrow after hours, I'll give it to you in person, soldier. I swear!
If you're looking for the political commentary of Papers, Please, you're not going to quite find that here. But there's definitely, I guess, a little bit more horniness to go around. It's hard to tell just how much more there'll be in the main game in terms of like routing or additional things to do, but this is definitely an unusual one to check out. So if you're in the mood to do some, I guess, alien watching, then at least give this one a try. And now up is Zroth. This is a combination of an engine builder and a city builder. You need to collect and raise enough resources to please the evil god Zroth before it destroys everything that you have. To do so, each turn you'll choose a resource to capture on the map. This can either give you a one-time influx of resources or generate them over each turn. Every time you unlock a new resource, that particular section of the map will kind of expand to reveal more of it. Each biome will also have specific rules in terms of what resources can show up there, can it modify those resources, give you more, take them away, etc, etc. Along the way, you'll also find artifacts. By spending resources, you can acquire them and then equip them into kind of your hotbar at the top of the screen. Certain resources will also, or artifacts will synergize with each other based on their placement. And there are of course ways of adding more space depending upon what you find on the map. And you must go until you either are unable to keep Zroth happy or you beat the game. It's a very clever take on kind of the engine building style, but it does have a few kind of unique issues to it. You see, because the biomes affect what kind of conditions and resources you get, you can have the situation where your entire engine just sputters right out of the gate, because gold is the only resource that is used to upgrade your castle. When you upgrade your castle, it improves all the other resource nodes that can generate. So if you don't get early access to that, you're going to be in trouble. And likewise, as you expand out, the cost to acquire new resources will get progressively more expensive. So if you're not able to basically engine or build all three of your resources of wood, gold, and villagers, you're going to end up running out of steam at some point. Another thing that is a little bit annoying is that every few turns, Zroth will eat a random resource on the map. And it's very easy, especially when you get near the end of your run, to kind of lose track of where certain resources and artifacts are. And it would have been nice to maybe have like a sword feature or a way of just highlighting something that you're looking for. it's still a very interesting take, and from what I played of this one, like a lot of the other engine builders, once you kind of figure out the key to winning or the exact path, it should really reduce in terms of its difficulty. So if you haven't ran out of gas yet for engine builders, I would at least give this one a try. And now we go over to Vitalis. This is a roguelike in the style of a tabletop RPG. You are playing the program Vitalis, and you must use your dice in order to explore the world and try not to get killed, or get killed again. How this one works is you'll choose a class at the beginning of the game with more unlocked as you progress. Each class comes with it a starting item or starting abilities, as well as preset stats in terms of attack, defense, and agility. Now, you'll need to use these 3 stats in order to deal with a variety of encounters. Attack will let you, of course, do more damage, defense will let you tank, and agility will let you run away from different fights, and you gain experience whether you kill the enemies or you run away from them. And your abilities will also be enhanced by how well your dice rolls are, or in my case, how bad your dice rolls are. You'll find items that can either manipulate your dice, manipulate the enemy's dice, or provide bonuses. And you must survive until the end of your journey, defeat or run away from the big bad, and hopefully win the campaign. Now, with this being obviously very RNG heavy, it also means that the difficulty is a little bit awkward at the moment. You can have a really great run just go sideways if all you do is roll 1s. Or you roll really high numbers, but you're not getting enough items, or you run to the wrong encounter. I'm interested to see if there will be any long-reaching meta progression, or where the full game is going to go in terms of its story. So if you're a tabletop fan, I would definitely give this one a try, and hopefully your dice rolls will be better than mine. And now we go to Glide. This is a puzzle Metroidvania, where you play as an adorable cat who's exploring a world. And we're going to have to run, double jump, bounce, and more in order to uncover its many secrets. You start with just your basic movement tech, and as you explore, you'll find MacGuffins as well as the upgrades needed to progress. This will allow you to return to previous areas, unlock shortcuts, and discover more of the secrets that are going on. The challenge here is that you'll have to really make creative use of your double jump / kind of dash. When you do the kind of double jump, it propels you forward. So you can easily run into a situation where you're overshooting your target. Because you can return to previous areas, it also means that you'll have to kind of keep track of where things are. There is a fast travel system, and I don't know how much harder the full game is going to be compared to the demo, but I was definitely enjoying this one. It controls very nicely, and there is a good variety of obstacles and tech to use and master. So, if you're a Metroidvania fan and a cat lover, this is a very easy recommendation. Now we go to Waking Nightmares. This is a kind of isometric horror adventure. The world has been taken over by strange creatures, and in order to uncover the mysteries, we're going to have to move around, shoot them, and solve a few puzzles. Our gameplay here is very much built on interactivity. You'll gain the ability to grab and manipulate objects, and as an interesting touch, when you go to fight enemies, it switches into kind of like a first-person view. Reminds me a lot of kind of the cutscenes from Faith. You'll have to figure out where you need to go, make sure you keep your resources up, and try not to get killed by a variety of enemies. It definitely has style, although I did find it a little bit slow in places. As you can probably tell from footage, you have very limited stamina, so when you're trying to sense out where you're supposed to be going, it can be a bit annoying to run out after every few feet. I also was a bit unsure of some of the items that I found, in terms of what they actually did. And again, a lot of the game is just about you uncovering what all of it means. And I would say this is a very easy recommendation for all the survival horror fans in the audience. We now go to the Dungeon Experience. This is a very light-hearted game compared to our last one. You are exploring the ride, the Dungeon Experience, where you can perhaps win the greatest treasure of all, financial freedom. And in order to do that, you will have to solve a variety of puzzles, meet very interesting people, and chat with your dungeon master / talking crab. This is going for more story and humor rather than challenging puzzles. You'll have to figure out where you need to go and get help from our friend here, while doing all manner of weird but still RPG fantasy related things.
Okay, great.
The story is quite delightful, and there's just some very funny moments all around. In terms of gameplay, there's not much more to be said. What you see here is what you're going to be getting. And if you are a fan of crabs, fantasy, and getting financial freedom, then it is a very easy recommendation. Up next is Asbak. This is a 2D hack and slash, very much in the high speed variety of almost like a Dead Cells. You are on a train infested with demons, and you're going to hack and slash your way through them wave by wave. After every few stages, you'll be able to find different perks. The game boasts that there will be up to 3 different demon hunters, each one having their own abilities, attack stylings, and more. Combat felt very fast, but it is a little bit on the floatier side, especially when you start dealing with like the heavily armored enemies. You're supposed to use your kick in order to break that armor, but it seemed like it was taking way too long. You get access to an ultimate, you can throw kind of paper bombs at enemies as well. Now from the demo, it's a little bit hard to tell how much there'll be in terms of like if there will be any meta progression, advanced elements, things like that. But this was certainly a very stylish action game. So if you're in the mood to do some demon slashing, I would at least give this demo a try. Now we go to Last Pill Bar. This is a bar-tending, I guess, simulator. You and your foul-mouthed hamster friend have opened up a bar, and in order to make do, you're going to have to serve your patrons, make sure they're properly fed and have their drinks, and there may also be some kind of pickling epidemic going on at the same time. Each day you'll have to quickly and stylishly manage your drinks and give them to the right people. As the game progresses, you'll also have to manage additional drinks and of course tend to other needs. There is a grade system to this, which I honestly couldn't figure out like what was affecting things in terms of the rating. Sometimes I just gave everyone everything they needed and I got a low grade for it. There's drinking games and much more to uncover. And it's certainly an interesting one. The only thing was that you earn money, but I don't know what the money is actually spent on after my time with this demo. But if you're in a drinking mood and don't mind a little bit of raunchiness to go with it, then definitely give this one a shot. And at long last, we get to our final demo for this showcase with the Fertile Crescent 2. This is a historical, single-player driven RTS that combines kind of elements of Age of Mythology and the original Age of Empires. When your village is invaded, you must sail across the land to try and rebuild and stay one step ahead of the invading army. Each map is its own unique challenge, as you'll need to worry about resource management, your quote-unquote hero units, and trying to deal with the enemies. You'll eventually be able to build infantry and armies. There's a basic tech tree that you'll get points as you progress. And you'll also get access to villagers provided you have enough housing to, of course, house them. Combat is a bit on the basic side. This is not going to be going for kind of like Warcraft 3 levels of unit powers or stuff like that. I found the art style to be good. It has, again, like that classic feel with some very good like unit animations when you zoom and you're watching like people do work and stuff along those lines. It's hard to tell from the demo how much more advanced the main game is going to be in terms of unit compositions, buildings, defenses, that kind of stuff. And there is multiplayer if you're interested in that, but this is definitely going to be a game that the main kind of selling point will be its single player campaign. So, if you're in the mood to do some classic RTS gameplay, I would definitely give this one a play. And with that, the series is finally over, but don't worry, I'm sure there'll be another Next Fest coming up very soon. Or your favorite games from the event. What are some of your favorite games that I somehow covered during all this? Let me know down below. And as always, be sure to reach out if you'd like me again to play your game for a future stream and showcase. So come back for daily discussions on game design, more indie games, and I'm hoping a lot more showcases to come real soon. Thanks for watching, and a special thank you to our Patreon supporters. If you enjoyed the video, do the YouTubing stuff, be sure to visit our Discord and Patreon, and you're interested in more in my thoughts on design, check out my game design books.